Hey, Jay and Silent Bob fans. I have a new episode of the Old 52, and that's where I take old number ones that people really cared about when they came out, but now they're defunct series and nobody cares. But you know what? I care, damn it, because I love these titles. Brought to you by my own comic, Red Knight. You can buy it at two places, Manos Publishing at Etsy.com and at PrimalPaperComics.com. Check out the links below. And here is the new issue of the Old 52. It's Green Arrow #1 by Kevin Smith and Phil Hester. Wow, there was a lot of talk and excitement surrounding this book before it came out, because for those of you in the know, Green Arrow had been kind of, well, pretty much dead for the most part. Long story short, he was in an adventure with Superman. He had his arm attached to a bomb. It was the same arm he was missing in Dark Knight Returns, and Superman was there, so there was that implication that this might turn out to be connected to the Dark Knight Returns. So there was a lot of mystery about his death. Was he really, really dead after the bomb exploded? Did he lose that arm? In the next couple of years, his son Connor would take over as Green Arrow. The son he didn't know existed, who had been growing up in a monastery, blah, blah, blah. And then Kevin Smith gets the job to take over Green Arrow, and he wants to bring back Ollie Queen and answer those questions once and for all. There's been a lot of speculation about, you know, issues here, issues there, if he had been killed. And this actually book took a while to write. Kevin Smith is admittedly a little slow on the writing. He's kind of late a lot, actually. He's yeah, he's about as late as a cast member of Jersey Shore. So finally they take it together. The actually editorial, I think, was really wise. They made him do all the scripts before they started working on the title and publishing it, which was clever, because this came out pretty regularly. And the story has a prologue where it takes place during the final night, which was a big crossover that happened like a couple of years ago. And long story short, an alien creature took out the sun, and the superheroes are trying to figure out how to replace the sun or restart it or something like that. And it ends, spoiler alert, with Hal Jordan, who was still the Phalanx, or whatever the fuck he was doing. He had this issue where he was just making amends, getting things taken care of in his life, and he went to where the sun was and blew himself up and recharged it. Sort of like making amends for his past deeds over the past few years and saving the entire world. One of those things was he stopped by Green Arrow's grave, and in this scene we have Superman and Batman having a chat, being Kevin Smith snarky with each other. Kevin Smith writes a really snarky Batman, which is hilarious. And Superman feels something weird come off him, and he doesn't know what the hell it could be, but he just, something just like, whoa, what was that weird thing? It turns out that, maybe I shouldn't get into it that down, but when Hal Jordan shows up to Ollie's grave, he makes Ollie appear, and he has 2 arms, and the costume he was previously in. Well, enough of that nonsense. We get to the rest of the issue. We get to visit with Ollie's supporting cast. We're talking about Speedy, and through each of their memories, we get to see their relationship and their viewpoint of Green Arrow. Of course, Speedy, well, actually, at this point, I think he was like, what was his name? I forgot that name between Red Arrow and Speedy. It's a stupid name. Arsenal? Arsenal, yeah. What a great name. Anyway, Arsenal is thinking about growing up with him and how he was there for him, even when he had like his big drug addiction problems. He never gave up on him, and he will never give up on doing the right thing. Then we go to Black Canary, who's on a stakeout, and it's reminding of a time, just a nice little quiet time, where she's doing the dishes, and Ollie gives her fellatio. But, let's see. And then we get back to a scene of her getting back into action. And I love these pages right here. With them discussing their, whole history and stuff like that. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but there was a time where Black Canary had actually black hair, short black hair, and the blonde was a wig. With Birds of Prey, first issue of Birds of Prey, she grew it out and turned it blonde. And then we get, of course, to Connor. Connor is, of course, his son. He, at this point, has given up being Green Arrow because his reasons for becoming Green Arrow are actually kind of interesting. He had never known his father. He had died before he got to meet him, so becoming Green Arrow, using his talents to become Green Arrow, he felt that maybe that was a good way to get closer to his father and maybe figure out what was in his head, which I actually think is a pretty interesting motivation, actually, for a superhero. Connor was a fairly interesting character. I don't think he's shown up in New 52 yet. Anyway, with all those characters going, man, that sucks that Ollie's dead. Ollie shows up, looking like kind of a bum, or Jeff Bridges. But the mystery starts here. Like, how is he alive? What happened to him? What's going on in his head? It's a fascinating mystery. In case you haven't read the series, in case you don't know how Kevin Smith brought him back, I won't tell, but it is worth reading. I don't totally agree with the method he brought back, but it is a really fascinating way he did it. It was very unique, I thought, and was interesting to watch put together. So overall, I enjoyed the series a lot, and it was some of Kevin Smith's best work. I do think his Green Hornet miniseries was his best comic book but this is a close second as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, push the button, Lindsay.